Liberty Hollow was still waking up under a pale February sky when Caleb Harlan stepped out of the modest single-story house he shared with his father out in the country, on the outskirts of town. The air smelled of frost and pine. Officer James Harlan stood on the porch in his navy jacket, thermos in hand, badge already gleaming.
You opening the clinic early again today, son?
Yeah, first appointment's at 8. Got a couple of spays and a dental. You heading to roll call?
Always. Stay sharp out there, bud. And tell Looney I said hello.
He'll be waiting. See you tonight, Dad. Let's catch up during dinner.
Caleb gave a small nod, the same quiet gesture they'd shared every morning since he was old enough to understand why there was only one parent raising him. His mother had died in a car accident when he was barely 3 months old. James never spoke much of the grief. He simply showed up, day after day, steady as the reservoir dam. Caleb learned early. Feel the emotion, think through the facts, then act. No shortcuts, no drama. That rule brought success, kept him focused, and, early each morning, kept his small trading portfolio growing, one disciplined position at a time. Hollow Heart Veterinary had only been open 6 months. Caleb had bootstrapped it with every spare dollar from shelter shifts, careful index fund gains, and zero debt. No flashy signage, no waiting room TV, just clean kennels, a single exam table, and a large muse for Looney in the corner. The sign out front was hand-painted, a simple heart outline with a paw print and a feather. People sometimes drove past, assuming it was still under construction. Caleb didn't mind. He wasn't building for applause. He unlocked the door, flipped the lights, and immediately heard the familiar soft chirrup from the muse.
Morning, Looney. How's my favorite Falcon doing today?
The juvenile Falcon tilted his sharp head, amber eyes locking on Caleb. Looney had been a broken-winged fledgling when Caleb found him 4 years ago on a reservoir trail. Half-starved, half-dead. Caleb nursed him back with precision and patience, and the bird never left. Animals didn't demand explanations. They didn't get offended by direct answers or quiet silences. They responded to consistency, clarity, and calm. Caleb understood them in a way he never quite managed with people. Dogs didn't care if you weren't charming. Cats didn't judge your tone. They just needed you to show up and do the right thing. That simplicity kept him grounded. Caleb was sterilizing instruments when the screech of tires tore through the morning. A frantic woman's scream followed.
Oh my God!
He looked out the window just in time to see a black sedan skid to a stop and a small brown and white dog limp sideways into the gutter.
No! For crying out loud! Looney, I'll be right back.
Caleb grabbed a towel, a muzzle, and his trauma kit and shoved through the door. A small crowd had already gathered, phones out, voices overlapping.
He just ran out. I didn't see him, I swear.
Somebody, quick! Get animal control on the phone!
Out of the way. Give him space. Back up. Now. I need room to work.
His tone came out sharper than intended. A few people flinched and stepped back, exchanging glances. Caleb didn't notice or care. The emotional noise of the crowd pressed against him like static. He felt it rise, acknowledged it, then pushed it aside. Feel it. Think. Act. He knelt beside the dog, a young terrier mix, blood pooling under the hind leg, breathing shallow and fast. Broken femur, likely internal bleeding, shock setting in.
Come on, Caleb. Work through it. You've got to think.
He slipped the muzzle on gently, wrapped the dog in the towel, and lifted him with careful strength. The crowd parted, some reluctantly, as he carried the animal back inside and kicked the clinic door shut behind him. In the surgical suite, Caleb moved like he traded, deliberate, no wasted motion. IV line in, fluids running, pain meds dosed by weight. Looney watched from his perch, head cocked, silent.
Looney, his femurs snapped clean. Probably nicked the femoral artery branch. We've got maybe 20 minutes before he crashes. Scalpel.
He spoke to the Falcon the way most people talk to themselves. Short, factual sentences. Looney never answered, but his presence anchored Caleb. No emotion clouding the decision tree, just the next right move. Animals didn't panic when things got hard. They trusted you to stay calm. That trust was why Caleb had opened Hollow Heart in the first place, to give them the same steady hand he gave his trades. The door chime rang. The worried owner stepped in, eyes red.
Is he going to make it?
Please, don't interrupt. I'm repairing the artery and penning the bone. It's going to take time. You can wait in the lobby or come back in an hour.
I need to know.
I know. I'm doing everything I can. Right now, the best thing you can do is let me focus.
She nodded, wiping her face, and retreated. Caleb didn't look up. He couldn't afford to. The dog's heart rate was climbing. He adjusted the fluids, checked the clamp, and kept working. 90 minutes later, the last suture went in. The terrier's breathing had steadied. Blood pressure was holding. Caleb stepped back, peeled off his gloves, and exhaled. Long, slow, and deliberate.
Good call on the extra fluids, Looney. He's gonna pull through.
Looney roused his feathers once, then settled again. Caleb cleaned the table, washed his hands, and finally let himself feel the adrenaline drop. His pulse was still elevated, but the emotion came after the action, not before. That was the difference between saving a life and losing one. Later, after the owner's tearful thank yous and the promise to return first thing tomorrow, Caleb sat on the exam stool with Looney on his glove. The Falcon's talons rested lightly, trusting.
People think calm means you don't feel anything. They're wrong. You feel it all. You just don't let it drive you. Feel, think, then act. That's how you keep what matters alive, whether it's a dog on the table or a position in the market.
Outside, the Liberty Hollow water tower stood against the late afternoon sky, green and steady. Inside, a falcon watched a man who'd learned long ago that the strongest thing you can do is stay calm when everything else is screaming. Lessons kept alive in Liberty Hollow. True strength isn't loud or flashy. It's the quiet discipline to feel the fear, the panic, the pressure, and then set it aside long enough to think clearly and act precisely. That single habit separates people who react from people who respond. It saves lives in the clinic, grows accounts in the market, and builds futures that don't collapse the moment emotion takes the wheel. In Liberty Hollow, the richest thing you can own isn't money or status. It's the ability to keep your head when the world loses theirs. One careful, deliberate decision at a time. If this story hit you hard, if Caleb's calm under pressure mindset reminded you of a moment you held it together, or wish you had, hit that like button. Drop a comment. Have you ever had to stay calm when everything was screaming? Or maybe share a time emotion almost cost you something big. And if you want more quiet stories about real wealth, the kind that doesn't make noise, subscribe and ring the bell. Your support keeps these tales alive. See you next time in Liberty Hollow. Until then, stay calm in the chaos and let clarity guide your next step.